Other news. My first story for today is something bizarre. In the United States of America, in the year 2023, I think it is now at this point in time, things are not going so well in this world. The so-called culture war that is raging on in the United States is about to get even dumber, in an even dumber way. I don't even know, what is the recap that I could provide here? I'm not sure, so we're just going to jump right in, or fall right in. White House endorses a new Senate TikTok bill, urges Congress to pass it quickly. The White House threw its support behind a new bipartisan Senate bill that would give the Biden administration the power to ban TikTok in the United States. The Restrict Act would empower the Commerce Secretary to mitigate undue or unacceptable risk to national security posed by technology transactions in which foreign adversaries have an interest. Senators sponsoring the bill emphasized that it doesn't single out individual companies for punishment, instead creating a new framework for evaluating risks. So this is a multifaceted issue. TikTok really, in a political sense, rose to prominence in the year 2020 when Zoomers were, and many other people, were recording police killing people live in the streets. If anyone remembers, there were a lot of protests in the year 2020, and a lot of young people would record these goings-on and post them on TikTok, and they circulated like wildfire. Police murdering journalists, murdering random protesters. I believe dozens of people were killed throughout 2020 by police. Killed, injured, permanently disabled. People are still recovering from those disabilities in a lot of areas. So that's where TikTok really rose to prominence in a political sense, in the sense of this is where politicians started to take note of it. But of course, they don't want to talk about it from an angle of, we want to ban TikTok because Zoomers are getting woke on it or some shit. They want to ban it because of Chinese surveillance, which is unacceptable. But private companies surveil us. They collect all of our data, and they can sell them to international brokers. They can sell that data, our data, everything you've ever searched on Google. Yeah, even in a private window, which, by the way, doesn't work on your ISP. Every single Google search you've ever made is in a file somewhere that is routinely sold back and forth, oftentimes from international brokers. So, but that's fine. It's TikTok that's the issue. Interesting. You know what else is interesting? Saudi Arabia has one of the largest stakes of Twitter stock. Saudi Arabia, the government of Saudi Arabia, has one of the largest shares of Twitter stock out of any holder. Are we going to ban Twitter? I mean, Saudi Arabia did 9/11. Saudi Arabia, right, literally had a big part to do with 9/11. Are we really comfortable with them having access to our Twitter search history? Are we really comfortable with Saudi Arabia, the country that primarily is responsible for 9/11, an attack on American soil? Are we going to let them have our Twitter data? Well, yes, we are. Because we love Saudi Arabia. I guess, right? You ever think about this stuff? Like all the bullshit that we've been through with the 9/11, the post 9/11 lifestyle, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. But we're best friends with a government that did 9/11. Isn't that a little... You ever just think about this shit, man? What the fuck? Let's keep going. And by keep going, I mean start. The White House threw in support behind a new bipartisan Senate bill on Tuesday that would give the Biden administration the power to ban TikTok in the United States. The legislation would empower the Commerce Department to review deals, software updates, and data transfers by information and communications technology in which a foreign adversary has an interest. Now, sidebar, what the fuck is a foreign adversary? Like, are we really still doing this shit? Where, ooh, the Chinese, ooh, the Russians, ooh, like, foreign adversary? TikTok, which has become a viral sensation in the United States by allowing kids to create, share short videos, is owned by Chinese internet giant ByteDance. Here's a question. What are we going to do about our economy that is reliant on China? If we cut all trade ties with China, the United States would collapse within a week. Less than that, probably a couple days. The entire U.S. economy would collapse. But they're our adversary, right? Why does our economy depend on Chinese manufacturing? If they're our adversary. I mean, they're telling us in one breath, China's an adversary, and they must be stopped at all costs. And the other breath, all of our trade deals outsource all of our jobs because of imports from China. Make it make sense. Does anyone know? I can't figure this out. Under the new proposal, if the Commerce Secretary determines that a transaction poses undue, unacceptable risk to U.S. national security, it can be referred to the president for action up to and including forced divestment. The bill was dubbed the Restrict Act. Blah, blah, blah. This bill presents a systemic framework for addressing technology-based threats to the security and safety of Americans. What about technology-based threats such as internet service providers and monopolies? You ever move to a new area and find out there's only one cable provider? That's a threat that leads to monopolies. By the way, these internet service providers steal all of our data. Every website you've ever visited on your computer or whatever it is that's connected to your ISP is on a file somewhere that they routinely sell to advertising companies. Is that not a technological-based threat to the security and safety of Americans? Sounds like one to me. But hey, what do I know? But, anyway, this is just a bunch of fucking garbage propaganda. But, yes, this is what's going on in the United States. Democrats are leading the charge on this one. To ban TikTok. TikTok, which of course is Chinese interests. But Saudi Arabia having a plurality stake of Twitter, you know, the country that did 9/11, that's fine. That's cool. That's fine. Private companies having every website you've ever visited. Looking at all the porn that you've ever looked at, that you've tried to bury deep. Ooh, I don't want anyone to know about my pornography habits. I'm gonna hide them so much that I forget about them myself. Well, Verizon still has that shit, motherfucker. And so on and so forth. Again, none of this is about logic. The United States government does not operate on logic. They operate on the culture war. The culture war! Oh, the culture war! And again, they're not going to say TikTok is banned because kids are using it to share things like police brutality or just any political messaging, or they're not going to even do it for health reasons. You know, some people say that TikTok addiction is a serious problem that's leading to underperformance in all kinds of situations. They're not going to ban it for that. They're going to ban it because China. But let's imagine Biden doesn't ban this. Okay. the next president will still have the authority to do so. So let's imagine Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis come in, day one TikTok ban. And that's only assuming that Joe Biden doesn't do it himself. Shit's crazy.